knows, hopefully this normal weather coming.
Oh, I'm hoping it starts to slow down a little bit.
Crazy, but it's just-
Last weekend was terrible. It's just like, boom, 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 boom.
What's your phone? Put it on this one, so-
Sure. Scott, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can anyone else
Is
hear?
that better? I'll turn it up a little.
That's fine.
Say something, Scott.
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Your turn.
There we go.
All right. I think we're all set. Okay. Okay, this meeting of the Board of Public Safety is called to order. And is that my phone buzzing? Oh, sorry about that. Got interrupted already. We have Commissioner Parmalee here and Commissioner Richardson via Zoom, so we do have a quorum. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Motion by Dave,
Second.
second by Scott. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. You also have the reports in front of you. I'll accept the motion to approve those reports. Motion by Dave.
Second.
Second by Scott. Any questions on any of those? All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes. We have no resolutions, but we do have claims.
Resolve that claims in the amount of $293,744.58 be approved and paid as audited.
Thank you, Missy. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Dave,
Second.
second by Scott. Any questions on the claims? All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes. So that brings us to our roundtable. We'll kick it off with Chief Brzezowski.
Okay, well, not too much new. We're trying to get our spring cleaning done, finishing up with the training for this year and getting the rigs polished up, cleaned up, working with the city garage, doing the first of the year falls, a lot of our inspections are due. So it gives us a time to look underneath on the chassis and all that stuff. And so they're getting the inspections done, getting anything caught up that brakes checked, adjusted, keeping everything as much up to tweak as we can. So we're going through that kind of our spring cleaning thing while we're finishing up some of our training sessions. We're hoping that we're seeing a decline with the COVID. We're hoping it continues to go that way. We're trying to assist people as much as possible. Where we get a lot of phone calls, where to get the shots, where can we go? And we're hoping that those numbers are going to keep increasing throughout the area so that more and more people are getting vaccinated, and hopefully we'll get this thing put behind us. So wishful thinking. I had two Zoom conferences, one with U of R Trauma Health. They started a new program where they're following with all the regional hospitals with necessity, not only just because of COVID, but trauma cases in general. And as far as shipment of patients to out of regional areas, what we're doing for them, what resources are there, and if they can fill in the blanks on some of the stuff via things like training and stuff like that. So they're doing a quarterly QI, and it incorporates all the EMS responders as well as the hospitals in the region. And with Zoom, we've been doing that right along. We did a couple of trial studies. And we did another one this month, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback and a lot of good information out of it. So it kind of helps the region as far as not being left out in the cold with a lot of the trauma issues that we have. We had a little good news this month. We had, due to COVID, we had a lot of tear down of the equipment. And one of our problem childs was the ventilators. Obviously, everybody had problems getting ventilators with COVID. The hospital ones that we had, we used to have a portable one years ago, and the hospital had one that was kind of semi-portable, but it was like huge, kind of like carrying a big microwave around. And we had put in for a replacement on them, and they are quite pricey. And the foundation stepped up and gave us the money to purchase the new ventilator. So we're gonna have a new transport ventilator, which definitely helps with our interfacilities from St. James and up to the trauma center. So we'll be doing training on that once that's purchased, and get the guys up to speed on that. And that'll definitely help with the transport patients that are on ventilators. So that was some good news.
You have to go out to bid for that? What's the price?
It's a donation. So when I went to them to approve for that, they purchased that piece of equipment for us.
Oh, okay, so we don't actually purchase it, they
They're getting,
purchase it and,
we're purchasing it, but I mean, they gave us the money to buy that particular unit.
but do we have to go out to bid then? If we're making the purchase, do we have to go out to bid for that?
I don't believe so. We haven't in the past. We did the same thing with the monitors.
Missy, you check into that just to make sure that we're doing it the right way?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
It's a,
I mean, one thing, if they were to purchase it themselves and they were just gifting it to us, I think that would be okay. But if we're making the purchase, then we have to, whatever the bid guidelines are. And I know that the dollar amounts, there's different thresholds for like DPW is a little bit different than public safety. So just check on that and
Absolutely.
thank you. Don't want to get our wrist slapped by the auditors.
Nope.
And you said it's for a specific ventilator
Yep.
that they're giving us the,
it's a transport ventilator, which is special for like air medical and ambulance.
All right.
That was pretty much it.
Okay. Bud.
Well, before you, there was a sort of a statistical report for last year. I was going to do it in January, but I sort of got delayed by quarantine. David and Scott weren't here, so I just want to sort of just real quickly go over the year to date for 2020 of actually what we did in our office. And taking into account being that it was a COVID year, it was somewhat slower than most years because a lot of people were out. There was a lot of things going on. So, but the first figure there, which is the year to date, 12,191.25. That is for building permits and roof permits for residential. The 23,168.56 is for building permits and roof permits for commercial. Last year we didn't do a whole lot of swimming pools, obviously because of COVID. We took in $1,840 for that. As you go down the list, demolitions 150, residential, commercial 650, renewals 85.50. Getting down to the multiple dwellings for inspections was $5,180, and that's for 3 or plus units. Commercial inspections for new businesses 300. Residential property inspections was $8,760 for rentals for single or double. We ended up taking that. Complaints received that Larry and I ended up having out in the field 419. Walk-ins, again, there was 102, but the building was closed, so that number really doesn't reflect that. Phone call-ins was 2,293 phone calls that we ended up receiving for different things, complaints, setting up appointments, building permits, whatever it may be. So we had almost 2,300 calls for that.
That's a lot of call volume.
Yeah, it is. And again, it was a slow year simply because of COVID. But as Missy knows, the phone days when she was here rings, starting at 8 o'clock or 8:30 when we're here, it just sort of continues throughout the day. vehicles tagged 48, towed 5, voluntary removal 19, tickets issued 10, fines levied, and variance applied for 1 for $40. So the total revenue we had for 2020 was $51,775.
Well, that's good information. So,
And this goes to the state.
mhm.
End of the year report that they require, so it ends up going to the state for their review. But we do it every month and it just rolls over. We have year to date each month, so it starts in January and just continues to accumulate each month.
So this is the year-to-date current fiscal year that we're in. What about comparison to prior year? You know any of those up the top of your head
Compared to what?
compared to prior years?
I know the number of calls is down and the number of complaints is down. I didn't do a comparison on that. We just simply because of, I think, the lack of people being out and about.
Mhm.
We didn't have the number of calls, although again, we had, like I say, 2,300 calls that came into the office last year. So
You factor in emails, the people email you at all, or is it mostly call volume?
a lot of the emails, what will happen is, if I get an email, then I take that email and I put it with a blue sheet.
Mhm.
Okay, then I'll do a complaint on it, then I'll put that into my monthly statistics that would then go to Kathy.
It does get covered.
Okay, so they do get counted in.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Chief.
Well, our car that got in an accident the other day is, I think it's just about complete now. It's up to Maple City Dodge. They've test driving it to make sure the front end is correct. We're gonna need a couple of stickers for the side of it that we need to put on there. I was hoping maybe Jackie from the fire department could help us in regards to that. Great job last time. She's more than happy to. And we can get them from the manufacturer and have her dress it up, and it should be back to brand new fashion. So we should have that by next week.
And it had to have been one of the new ones.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it was his law. But,
The commissioners, did you know about that?
Nope, didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, so one of our Durangos was hit in the broadsided basically in the high school parking lot a few weeks back. So folded it. It was more towards the front end passenger side, and kind of collapsed the front wheel and fender in. So not the fault of our officer. Someone was in the parking lot going a little bit too fast and apparently not paying attention and took it out. So
How much damage was done? It's over 8,000.
I want to say like 7,900 something. That's what I got, but yeah. It's about 8,000.
yeah, so there's that.
For the, just so that we're all looked on square and everything else, we did bring in the state police to do the investigation for us and to do the incident report, and they ended up citing the other driver as at fault. So
It was captured on the school cameras.
yes, it was. The other thing we've got, Officer Curtis Stanford, he took it upon himself to take some courses in EMT, and I don't know what certification he's going to be getting, Frank.
He'll finish out with his EMT basic. They finished their skill sets Monday night, and we did a review session. So now he's just got to sit for his written exam, which it usually takes 2 to 3 weeks to get the information back from state once we've submitted that, all the students have completed this phase in the The way it used to do, we had a sit down test at one location picked with a date and a test date. Now everybody goes to these electronic online testing sites now. So he'll get a notice in the mail with a ticket and a number to go and then take his test. And then he'll be all certified.
Which is great. He took it upon himself to do it. I think it's great motivation for him to do it and for us to have officers that have it, particularly nowadays where we're dealing with people that are overdosed and we're off time first on the scene, and rather than being there, not knowing what to do. It's great that we have some officers that have some training, certainly not to the degree of the paramedics that are showing up, but we can assist a lot better, I think. And so I'm going to encourage some other officers to go in the same direction so that we get people on various shifts that do have this certification. I think it's a great thing to have. And
Anytime you work on a call, when you work on any kind of a trauma call or accident scene, it's all hands on deck. So the more experience you have there, one or two medics doesn't cover it, so when you've got 3 or 4 people that know what they're doing, and most of your officers do, they always have, as far as us pulling up on a scene and saying, hey, grab this, grab that. They know the fundamentals, backboard, bandaging, that kind of stuff. But you're right, to have that extra expertise is huge, both for working with us, but also as a training facility. The other officers that, when there's different things at an EMT level, he can do quite a bit more with that. And it's a big commitment. It's a lot of hours that he put in and committed to that. It's not just, show up and we'll give you a certificate, because you sat here for 4 hours. It's that class started back in September and it just finished out. So it's a commitment.
Good for him.
I'd be careful, Ted. Frank could be poaching your officers to become firemen.
I got a couple I might want to give them. No, actually not.
It works great.
I don't think so. I think it really works great though, Scott, that we work together.
Oh, no doubt.
Good. And what else? Covered vehicles, so we're in good shape there.
Vehicles.
Any birthdays?
Yeah, we had a swearing-in ceremony this morning for our newest officer. So he's now in the training phase. He's doing training, and he'll be doing training for probably. He's been doing a lot from both when he graduated and then when he was with Livingston County, he did an awful lot of training. But we're for probably 5 weeks. I sat down with my sergeants and my FTOs, and that's what we kind of come up with a plan of about 5 weeks. And he should be able to go on his own. If not, we'll sit down at that point and look at what remedial he may need. Still staying busy. A lot of drug issues out there. I'm going to be getting a hold of some of the local agencies that are bringing people in for treatment to our area. We just seem to be seeing that a lot of people are coming in for treatment and are staying in the area and dumping out of the treatment, but then looking for housing locally and still having that drug issue. And it just doesn't seem to be some coordination. There used to be in the past, but we'd like to see some coordination if these people, don't get the treatment they need. They get help in getting back to their original community. I think it makes more sense. So we're going to try to work more on that. And I was going to talk to Bud about a couple of those issues. Codes has always been real great resource for us that we can bring them in and then help us with these housing situations. Bud helping with one last week that we had. We had the one on Ansett Street. Just so important to keep our community free of this stuff, and we certainly want people to get help if they can. And we've had over the last 3 weeks, I think we've had 4 people that have come in and we've gotten into treatment programs that they came directly through our department. So that's encouraging. we still keep it wide open. If someone needs help, come to our police department and we will get them into the program. They haven't failed us yet as far as getting somebody in.
All right, well, just to touch base on COVID real quick, things are slowly starting to reopen. I've been trying to stay on top of all the changes coming out of Albany, and restaurants are able to open it up to 75% capacity here in the next few weeks, I believe. The outside gathering limits are going up, and that reminds me, Missy, so with the gathering restrictions being loosened, I think it's probably now the appropriate time to start accepting the pavilion rentals again.
Okay.
So I'm sure you probably already started to get some of those calls, I would imagine, so.
Yep.
So I would think now's the time to start accepting those.
Okay.
We're at 50, but I think that goes after, it's a week after St. Patty's, that number goes up. Outside and indoor limits go up, so I think we should probably be in the clear there. Slowly but surely.
One of the things, I don't know if there's any changes to it, but I don't think any of the bars that indicated they were gonna have any big things on St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. So historically, the Hat Bus provides shuttle service on St. Patty's Day, or on the Saturday before. They usually do kind of a continuous loop to the establishments that want the service. And historically, you have a handful of establishments and they pay Hat to perform the service. Well, this year, obviously, we're not having a parade, but we still anticipate people going out. And it's always, you always kind of weigh it, well, we don't necessarily want to promote people gathering because of the pandemic. At the same time, we don't want people driving intoxicated as well. So what we did is we reached out to the establishments and asked them what their hopes or expectations were. And the feedback that we received, each establishment that we reached out to that has participated in the past, they didn't want the service this year. They're still under restrictions. They still have the gathering limits, and they didn't want anything outside of that to really promote it. They didn't want an excess flow of people, just because that puts them in an awkward position. Really, they have to start counting heads and all that. So those businesses did not want the service this year. So we will respect their wishes and look to next year.
We will be having a special DWI patrol that evening, just to let the community know that we're going to be out there.
Yeah.
Enforcing, hopefully no one will drink and drive. We will be responsible. We will have enforcement if that's a problem.
And this is Saturday, right? Not the actual St. Patrick's Day, but you're doing a special
Yes, sorry.
Saturday.
patrol.
No. Okay. Well, that's all I have. Anything from the commissioners?
Oh, I'm good.
I'm good.
All right. Anything else? Anything from the clerk?
Nope.
No. All right. Well, with that, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn. Motion by Dave, second by
Second.
Scott. All right, all in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.